Hey everyone, welcome back to Explorium Academy Session 4. And today we're going to build your first real agent using Slack and the Explorium MCP. Okay, so we are back now in n8n with a blank project, and we are going to start building the Slack agent. And this agent is going to involve both Slack and the Explorium MCP. And what it's going to do is in your Slack workspace, you're going to be able to call the agent with natural language, and then it will then output a response from our Slack MCP into your Slack workspace. And so, okay, let's get started. So the first step in any n8n workflow is to add some sort of trigger. So let's go ahead and do that. For this workflow, we're going to add a Slack trigger. For specifically, we're going to do on bot app mention. Okay, so now we have our Slack trigger inputted into our workflow. And what we are going to do next is go over to api.slack.com/apps, and we need to build a Slack app. So we're going to start with creating an app, and we're going to do it from scratch. And let's call it Explorium Academy Example. I can't spell. And you're going to add it into your workspace. Okay, so now once it is added to your workspace, it's going to open up this page which is a bunch of settings that you need to toggle. Once we are on this page, we are going to now scroll down to OAuth and permissions. All right, now we're on this page. Scroll down a little bit, and we need to get to bot token scopes, and we need to add the necessary scopes for our bot. So we're going to add them here. And I'm going to skip ahead, and I'm going to put the necessary permissions that you need to add right here on the screen, and you can pause and add them at your own time. All right, so now once you have all of the necessary scopes added, we're going to scroll back up to this menu here, and we're going to go to Install App. Once you're on this page, we're going to click Install to whatever your workspace is. We're going to click Allow. And then we'll have this page open seeing that is installed. And it's going to give you a bot user OAuth token. We need to copy that. And now we're going to head back over to n8n. In n8n, with that OAuth token, we're going to open our credentials, and we're going to create a new credential. Let's call it Explorium Academy Connection. And we're going to paste that token right here into the access token and click Save. And connection tested successfully. Amazing. All right, so now that we have that done, let's set a few parameters for this Slack trigger. Specifically, we want it to have it watching for the entire workspace. You can set it to a specific channel if that's what you'd like, but for this case, we're going to set to the entire workspace, and we're going to toggle on resolve IDs. Okay, and now the next step is to use these webhook URLs that are provided in this trigger, and we are going to go back to the Slack app settings and integrate it with these URLs. So we are specifically going to use the test URL just for the sake of example. We're going to go back over to our settings, and we need to scroll down to event subscriptions. In event subscriptions, we want to toggle this on, and you want to paste this webhook URL right here. Now, it is going to give you an error right now, but we need to go back to Slack, and what we need to do is execute this workflow. Once the workflow is executed and you go back here and click retry, it should work and it is verified. Perfect. Once your request URL is verified, we need to go down to bot events. And we are going to add a bunch of bot events. I'm again going to put these events that you need to add right here on the screen. You can pause this video and add them at your own time. Great, so now once you have your bot events added, we can go ahead and save the changes. Perfect. And then now once those changes are saved, we can go ahead and go back over to n8n. And we're going to stop listening because there's no need to do that right now. Let's exit our Slack trigger, which is now set up and ready to go. All right, so let's test this connection real quick. I'm going to head and go over to Slack. So this is a Slack channel that I've created for the sake of this example. And now let's tag this bot. We are going to use Explorium Academy example, which we just created. And when you tag it, it will then give you the option to add it to the channel. Let's just say hello. Okay, it's going to give you the option to add it to the channel. Let's add them. And now they're added and they should have been tagged. Oh, we forgot to execute the workflow. Let's try that again. Go back here. They're already in the channel now. Let's say hello. We go over here, execute it successfully. If you go into the app, you can see that it grabbed hello from Slack. Awesome. So now let's move on. And the next thing is now we want to add some sort of AI agent to process the text that we are getting from Slack. So let's go over here. Let's click AI. We're going to do AI agent and let's name it Explorium agent. And in the Explorium agent, there's a few things we need to do. First and foremost, let's do the prompt as a user-defined message, and we want to specifically grab the text from our previous node and put it in here. So now if it is some sort of prospecting query, it will be the prompt for the AI agent. Now, what we also want to do is we want to go over here down to options, and we want to add a system message so we can give some instructions for the AI agent to process. Now, I already have some well-defined instructions laid out, and I can show them to you right here on the right-hand side if you want to copy them for your own use. We will also make this prompt accessible for you in outside of this video so you can copy and paste it for the sake of this tutorial. All right, so now once we have the system message inputted, let's go ahead and continue configuring this agent. With any agent, you need some sort of chat model associated with it. So let's go down here to chat model and let's add the Anthropic chat model. Now you have to input your own credentials. I already have mine inputted here, but you can go ahead and pause the video and input the credentials needed here. Now, once that is done, we can go over here and we need to now add some sort of memory for the AI agent. We are going to use simple memory, which is the n8n native memory. It stores in n8n memory and there's no credentials required. It is included. With this memory, we're going to go over to we're going to define our session ID below, and we're going to have to use some sort of identifier for this session. And with a Slack trigger, this is going to be the timestamp, which is going to be different based on every single Slack message that comes in. So we're going to drag that over here to key, and now that is good to go. Now the last thing we need to configure for the AI agent is what tool it's going to access. And we want it to specifically access the Explorium MCP as a tool, so it has access to all of Explorium's comprehensive B2B data. So let's go over here and click the plus button, and we want to add an MCP client tool. All right, so now if we go over here, let's first name this tool. Let's call it the Explorium MCP. And now we need to fill out these parameters. The first parameter you need to do is the endpoint, and you can just copy it from this screen. This is the endpoint for the Explorium MCP. We're going to use HTTP streamable as the server transport, and we need to use header auth for authentication. And again, input your Explorium credentials here. I already have mine inputted, but this is where you'd input your Explorium credentials. Now, once that is done, the Explorium agent is set up and ready to go. So now let's test the workflow again with Slack. So let's execute the workflow. So now the Slack trigger is waiting for some sort of event to happen in Slack. We'll go back over to Slack, and let's tag the bot and say, find me 2 healthcare companies, I can't spell, in the US. Send that message, come back over here, and you can see that workflow is now executing. I'll give it a little bit of time for the AI agent to process the message. All right, great. So the workflow to this point has executed successfully. Let's go and look at what we gotten from each step of the workflow. So if we go into the Slack trigger, we can see down here that we got the prompt that we put in, find me 2 healthcare companies in the US. Now, if we leave here, we can go into the Explorium agent, and we can see that the input is find me 2 healthcare companies in the US, and the output is that it found 2 healthcare companies. Now, in our system message, we did give it specific instructions on how to format this message so it's best formatted as a Slack output. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and add one more node, and this is going to be the Slack output message. So we want this to go down. We want this to now send a message back to Slack. So let's go down here to message actions, and we want it to send a message. All right, so now once this node is open, let's go over here to your credentials, and you have to ensure that it's the same credentials we are using for the Slack trigger node, so it is sending from the same account. We already have it as a message and sending. Now we want the message to send to a specific channel, and that channel we are going to use from an ID. Now that ID is going to be specifically from the Slack trigger node. We can get that here. We want to get the Slack channel ID specific from here so we knows where to send the message back to. We want the message type to be a simple text message, and we want the text to be the output from the Explorium agent. So you can drag this output right here into text. Great. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to add a few more options. We want to reply to a specific message. So we'll go down here and click reply to a message. And we need a message timestamp to reply to. So again, let's go back to the Slack trigger, and we have our timestamp right here. We can drag that directly right here, and we have a specific timestamp to reply to. So now if we execute this node, it's executed successfully. We can go back here to Slack, and we can see that our last message, find me 2 healthcare companies in the US, got some sort of reply. If we open it, we can see, oh, all right, great. It found 2 healthcare companies in the US using Explorium API, Johnson & Johnson and Abbott Laboratories. Those are 2 obvious healthcare companies, so it worked successfully. Now, this is the entire workflow that we have created here today into this tutorial, and you can utilize some of these patterns and techniques in your own projects or later in Explorium Academy. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to continuing to build with you guys in session.